Doherty.
Here.
Mr. Roche.
Here.
Mrs. Jones.
Here.
Vice Chair Murphy.
Here.
Let the record show that the town manager, Greg Dunham, is present, as is Edward Nazaro, the staff attorney, and myself.
Thank you, Rita. I'd like to move on to the minutes from the regular meeting and the public hearing we convened on 11/15/18. If you've had a chance to review them, are there any amendments or additions? Otherwise, could I have a motion to approve them, please?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Excuse me, change some. Before I call the roll, let the record show that Mrs. Delafield is present. This is a roll call for the minutes. Mr. Doherty?
I second the motion.
Okay.
Aye.
Mrs. Delafield? Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Chairman Murphy?
Yes. Thank you, Rita. We have a projection for the forthcoming meeting dates. Are there any of those dates not available for anyone attending?
I believe you.
I'm going to say there's two actually. The next meeting on the 24th, I won't be here, and the meeting on the 28th, both of those I'll be at attention.
Both January and February?
No, January and March. March
All right.
the 28th that day. Right, moving on to the public hearing part of the meeting. Declaration of ex parte communication.
Yes, I actually did have ex parte communication with the applicant on the second submission, Mr. Kevin Clark, 45 days ago.
Thank you, Bob. Rita, could you administer the oaths, please?
Anyone that may speak during this meeting, please stand and raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, Rita. So we move on to the first application. That is a continuation application submitted by Randolph Stock Architects as agent for Scott and Rita Galway, owners of the property located at 1535 North Ocean Boulevard, Gulfstream, Florida 33483. Legally described as a portion of the north 100 feet to the south 168 feet of Government Lot 1 on Section 10, Township 46 South, Range 43 East, Palm Beach County, Florida, lying east of the easterly right-of-way line of Ocean Boulevard. Call to the floor. Is this a presentation? Please can you state your name?
Yes, Greg Kiner for the record from law firm of Sickler & Movitz. Good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman. We appreciate your time this morning, especially 2 days after Christmas. I'm here just briefly on behalf of Scott and Beata Galloway. They could not be here. Mrs. Galloway was here last month. I can assure you they'll be watching the video later today, probably when it's posted, so they apologize for not being able to be here due to holiday schedule. But I did just want to briefly introduce our team, and the reason I'm here is because last month there was a legal team on behalf of the neighbor, Mr. Alexander, and I'm glad to see, no offense to them, that they're not here. We've worked hard this past month to try to resolve our differences, and we believe we have. So, but I'm just going to introduce the team. I've been doing this for 28 years as zoning attorney, and I realize less is more, especially 2 days after Christmas. So I have with me a new name, Daniel Sugg. Tony Grimaldi was the landscape architect, but he's retired. Good for him. And we have Mr. Sugg, he's going to be presenting the landscape. Freddie Polania, who was here last month from Randall Stoff Architecture, and Mark Julian and Natalie Bach from Mark Julian as well. I just do want to say that on December 3rd, we met on site with their landscape architect, Grant Thornborough, and Mr. Sebastian Martinez, one of their legal counsels, and also Mr. Leslie Alexander. We met for almost an hour on site, went over the common property line and concerns over landscape architecture. We provided them what we believe that they asked us for, And on 12/7, we received an email from Mr. Sebastian on behalf of Mr. Alexander, and it's, I'll just read to you, because I think I'm proud that we actually can have this email. Mr. Sebastian provided that we are generally happy with the plans and designs as provided. We will review the proposed plans as they appear in the upcoming agenda for the December 27th meeting. Pending no material deviations from the provided plans, we're amenable to the proposed changes. As always, please let me know if you'd like to discuss. Best Sebastian. So we have provided the submitted plans. Nothing has deviated from those since we met and provided them to them. So I'll turn this over to the team, and if you have any questions, legal or otherwise, I'll be glad to answer this.
Just before we go there, could we get a copy of that email?
Absolutely. Yes, I did make a copy for that.
Thank you.
This is just the email communications that we had back and forth for your information. The second to last page is that highlighted email.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Sugg from Sugg Design Studio. I'm a landscape architect. And I'd like to go over the changes from the latest presentation. I'll walk over to the plans now to kind of point out. The first thing you'll notice is we removed the proposed wall, the block wall that was on the southern property line. And we're proposing a 5-foot black powder-coated aluminum fence located 6 inches inside the property line. If you can see on here, from the front property line to this location, we're proposing 8-foot photocarpus planted height, and it'll be maintained at a minimum of 10-foot overall, 10-foot overall height. From the photocarpus, on the back part of the motor court area here, we have a small eclusia hedge planted height at 8 feet and maintained at a 10-foot overall height. In front of the eclusia hedge here, we have 3 pigeon plum trees that are planted at 14-foot height. After the eclusia hedge along the property line, we are starting a 16-foot tall aretha palm hedge on the side of the house, and that will be maintained at a minimum of 18 feet. There are also 2 existing large sea-grape trees that will be remaining along the property line here as well. After the aretas, as we get closer to the beachfront, we'll start sea-grape hedge, and then from here to about here, we'll be 8-foot planted, and then maintain at a minimum of 10-foot overall height. And then as you start here to here, it'll be a 7-foot planted height and maintained at 7 feet. And that's the planting along. Oh, there's also some existing coconut palms that are to remain here, some large existing coconut palms. And that's the planting along that southern property line there. I'm not sure if you guys want to go through the rest of the plan. I think it would maybe
The contentious issue was the border.
Yeah, we got it, of course. And so I see 7 feet at the far end. That was a negotiated item, view considerations.
That was, yes,
right?
for the ocean view.
Yeah, because that's a drop down from 8 feet, or 10 feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of the rest of the proposal, can we just reiterate quickly what it was? I know we went through it, but to make sure it's as was.
Good morning, Freddie Colania with Randall Soft Architects. As Mr. Kino presented, we have not deviated from the submitted drawings, the plans that were submitted to the Alexander camp. We're still keeping the exterior staircase. Our drawings do show a flat terracotta tile roof, but we also brought over a barrel tile sample. We don't mind the barrel tile sample. We'd like to have the flat tile roof if possible, which is what was submitted in our renderings and our plans. Now, can you bring the 2 samples over, please? We'll show the. As you can tell, they're both colored the same.
Is that barrel or an S?
This is a barrel.
Okay.
which gives a nice streamlined look. It keeps with the color of the architecture. We feel it gives the house a nice look. Maybe there are two options. And this option is shown in the renderings with what's in your packet.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Taylor is advised that the barrel tile roof for Spanish Mediterranean style is required by the code.
Therefore, we must adhere to the code.
Okay.
Thanks, Craig. In terms of any other questions about the design, which we went over thoroughly last time when you were on the record, that there are no changes or deviations to that.
No,
We've
sir.
got the email which also supports that, just with the addition of the landscape. We reviewed this in depth last time. In that case, are there any other questions from the board or the floor?
I do have one more comment. You'll notice on the staff report, the affected lot area was recomputed as identified by the attorney at the last meeting. So this is the correct affected lot area.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, can I just hold on one second? Covering a lot. So was it, what did it change from? I'm just curious.
It was listed also at 40,120.
So it's now down to the 37, but it didn't impact the,
No,
That'll be
so the
fine.
FAR is still.
they just pointed out an error, okay.
Right.
I have one question, actually. When they were showing because of the ocean view on, I don't know exactly how to reference this, it says 7-foot tall sea grape hedge planting to be maintained at 7 minimum overall height. Shouldn't that be maximum? Didn't they want to make sure it wasn't super tall?
Well, we just wanted to show that it wouldn't go below, so,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think.
I misunderstood. I thought it was supposed to not be over.
Seven, let's just read the word. Something called single page.
We wanted to lower it.
Wasn't it that they didn't want it taller than 7 feet?
Greg Heine for the record, and I have photos of the existing conditions on their side. They've got very tall sea grapes, so it really is not gonna bother them one way or the other. We wanted to keep it low. As a matter of fact, we'd like to go lower if possible. But
Okay, I
we
misunderstood.
committed.
I thought
Yeah,
that
they,
it was supposed to be
they
higher.
want, because at that end, they do want to see the ocean, and so do we, so that's why I was like.
Perfect.
No worries.
Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. Right. Are there any other questions from the board?
With regards to the tile, do we have to make a decision today on the roof tile?
Yes, that will be part of the, if we make the motion to approve, there will be formal recognition, formal record that we have to move with the tile related to the Mediterranean.
Yes.
In that case, could I ask somebody from the board please to make a motion?
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve a level 2 architectural site plan based on the finding that the proposed construction of a 709 square foot guest suite above the existing 3-car garage that is attached to an existing 2-story Gulfstream Bermuda-style single-family dwelling and extensive landscaping of the property meet the minimum intent of the design manual and applicable review standards with the following conditions. 1, any minor modification in the approved landscaping shall be submitted to the town manager for review and approval, and any major modification shall be brought back to the ARPB for review and approval prior to commencement of landscaping. Oh, and that the flat tile is permitted to,
No, sorry. It's the barrel tile.
the barrel tile is permitted to be put on the roof.
Thanks. Do we have a second?
I'll second
Mr. Doherty.
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield.
Yes.
Mr. Roche. Mrs. Jones. Vice Chair Murphy.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your
Okay.
presentation.
All right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We now move on to the second item application on the agenda, a resubmission of applications submitted by Carlos Linares, architect, as agent for Kevin and Michelle Kwan, owners of the property located at 3400 Polo Drive, Gulfstream, Florida, which is legally described as Lot 10 and north 50 feet of Lot 11 on Polo Cove subdivision. The floor is yours. Carlos. We need to go over the history just as you did the context for the last one, or just we just go with this?
Let's see what you have.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Linares with Randall Stoff Architects. I presenting this project for the second time. The first time we were denied the special exception of the additional unenclosed square footage that we were requesting. So we have resubmitted new floor plans, decreasing the overall square footage of the enclosed and unenclosed square footage down to meet the criteria. The allowable FAR is 7410. Obviously, you know, we're under 7406 is what we are proposing. We've been able to take square footage from many different places, square footage from the garage, square footage from a couple of bedrooms, you know, a foot here and there, as well as the second floor. So second floor ratio to the first floor has still been met. We were very careful with that. Massing wise did not change. You know, it's very significant. The points that we have decreased the square footage by, but we've already showed that on the elevations. They may not be so significant to you guys. I mean, we could go over all of that if you like. I believe that was the major item that we're coming back to present to you guys. The architecture has not changed. You guys did ask us to bring a roof tile sample, which we have. I could present that as well to you guys. That's pretty much it. Landscape architect is also here if you have any questions. I don't know whether there was anything in particular that was that needed to be presented on the landscape today.
At our previous meeting, Rita, sorry. My question is, it was obviously very clear when we put it to the floor. I asked if there was any, you know, any feelings, and the additional space which you cut back down was the major one. Has there been any formal feedback from the neighbours, Rita?
No.
About this?
Not, there was,
Yes, at the meeting as well.
yeah, but there hasn't been anything additional.
Subsequent.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Now, Carlos, you say the massing of the building is the same?
Pretty much. I mean, you know, like I said, because we've gone ahead and taken maybe a foot off from one wing and then another foot from the other wing. That 1 foot on the overall scale, it does not change the scale of the scale of the architecture. Correct. So it's not like we've taken 5 feet away.
Well, I know you haven't taken 5 feet off of a garage to leave half a car hanging out the side, but the actual shape of the house has been contained in.
Correct. Everything came in, you know, whether it was 6 inches here, a foot here,
Right.
that has shrunk.
You let some air out of the tire, basically.
Exactly.
I get it.
Okay.
And was it pretty much 6 inches here and a foot here? Is that? There's no
Yeah,
bedroom change?
so, you know, if I remember correctly, it was.
All you had to do.
Well, yes, all we had to do was take in square footage, well, our client was very adamant about maintaining the unenclosed square footage. You know, that's very important here in
Yep.
Florida, I mean, you know, everybody
We know.
knows that. Obviously, that's what we were requesting. We were requesting for unenclosed areas to go beyond the FAR. But that was a little bit more important for them than the enclosed
Yeah,
area.
I mean, the only reason I ask is because I had spoken with Rita and said, you know, it says, you know, that the square footage is now within the boundaries and eliminating that 166 square feet. But I asked her if the town had gone over the plans to ensure that there had been shrinkage, or that it was just in print and, you know, that the house was gonna go up. And I just want to ensure from you that, in fact, that shrinkage has occurred.
I met with Rita and Greg before, when we were submitting. I went over the specific points that we took out the square footage from.
Okay.
And because there's been meetings, as you say, you've met with Rita, you've met with Greg, is there any comment from staff on this? I know your recommendations, but in terms of just to confirm the conversations took
Oh, no,
place.
that's,
Yep,
I
that's
would confirm that.
great, okay. We, again, looked at the last presentation in detail. If this is approved, obviously, and it's a level 3, and it goes to the town commission, obviously it would be the full presentation. I mean, I know this is, if you like, light in terms of colour and the landscaping plan and everything, but when you go to there, it would need to be in full.
Well, the landscape is still the same as before, so
no,
we don't
not
have
for
it
us,
here.
not for us, I'm saying, but we've seen.
Oh, yes, yes.
So that this wouldn't be sufficient.
We have still the renderings are still illustrating the colors, the overall components of the architecture. But yes, we do have all of that.
Did you bring the
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you got the time?
Yes, yes, I do. I do have the tile here as well. I don't know whether you want me to pass it around or if this is visually okay for you guys.
That's dark.
Very dark.
It's almost black.
It's a colour, obviously the rendition that you do for the presentation, if we make a motion to approve this, can you make sure that the rendition is actually that dark on the plan as
Yes,
well?
absolutely.
So it's a clear representation.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
No?
No?
I'm just sorry to see that 200-year-old tree leave the property. But the driveway goes right through it. You couldn't hollow out the middle of that tree?
We saved a lot of material on that property, a lot. We've got 63 trees and palms, not including the strip on the north and south side. That's only carried as one because there's so many palms, multi-palms. So there's well over 150 palms on there, that property. We're
Right.
trying to salvage, we're keeping all of that on both sides. We're trying to salvage all that we can and move it, and, you know, you saw the efforts where I relocated a lot of the material, and it's gonna take a crane and, you know, heroics to get them to their new locations. The type of palms that we're trying to salvage tend to fall apart because they're so multi-trunked. They start to come apart, you know, it's not just one solid trunk. So they really are trying to, they love walking through the property, the homeowners. And I walk through with them and they love it, it's like, we can pretty much do this and that, and we can't do this. You gotta be realistic about what's feasible and what's not feasible, and we're trying. We're gonna go overboard on making an effort to save what we can. It's gonna be nice. The house now is beautiful, 2 doors down, so it's gonna be just as lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any more questions? In that case, could I ask for a motion, please? Or motions?
I'll make this motion. I make a motion to recommend approval of a level 3 architectural site plan based on a finding that the construction of a 2-story, 7,406 square foot.
Here, we need to start here.
Oh, sorry, motion to recommend approval of a land clearing permit.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield? Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes.
I'd make a motion to recommend approval to demolish the existing buildings.
Second.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield?
Yes.
Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Vice Chair Murphy?
Yes.
Motion to recommend approval for a special exception for the 30-foot rear setback.
Second.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield? Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes.
Motion to recommend approval of a level 3 architectural site plan based on a finding that the construction of a 2-story, 7,406 square foot, single-family Bermuda style, it's a 2-story home, it's not a single family. 2-story Bermuda style home with attached garage, pool, and pool pavilion meet the minimum intent of the design manual and applicable review standards with the following conditions. 1, prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy, the owner of the property shall prepare and sign a Gulfstream driveway removal agreement. 2, any minor modifications in the approved landscaping shall be submitted to the town manager for review and approval, and any major modification shall be brought back to the ARPB for review and approval prior to the commencement of landscaping.
Second.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield? Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes. Thank you
Happy New Year
for
to all.
your persistence. So we move on to the third application of this morning's meeting. And this is an application submitted by David Frank as agent for Scott and Esther Carmelani, owners of property located at 1222 North Ocean Boulevard, Gulfstream, Florida, 33483, legally described as Lot 3, Hidden Harbor Estate, Plat 2.
I see Mr. Frank is just now coming in.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Everybody.
Good morning.
David's coming through the door now.
Wonderful.
We'll be with you in a minute.
Well, just in time, honey.
We just called you.
You're up.
Yes, quick. Yep. I bet you need to be sworn in.
Yes, he does need to be sworn in. Raise your right hand, please. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God?
Sorry for being late, I thought I had more time than going through 2
You
projects.
saw the agenda, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Wow, that's quick.
Here's your house.
Okay,
Just in time.
thank you. Again, my name's David Frank, Precision Drafting and Design, and it's a project for the Carmelani residents. I want to take a second floor balcony and convert it into a second floor enclosed living space.
Sorry. Carmelani?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't bring my glasses in, so I can do the best I can with this. Okay, so, I want to start out by showing the existing rear of the house. The balcony is there between the 2 legs of the the rear that face west, and the rendering depicts the, what it's gonna look like after. That's this area right here, we're gonna enclose that, make it second floor living space. Let's see, can you, Mr. Frank? I wanna go to the second one.
Mr. Frank,
Yes.
could you maybe bring that up here so we
Sure.
can pass it around?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for everybody to say thanks. I already know what, this area right here. Right. Could the board see the difference? Do we need to go back to the other one so you, now that you can?
It's in all the
Yeah.
pictures
Yeah.
in the presentation.
Yeah. It's in the back here. Just about.
20 by 20.
Mhm. That's why.
Go to page two.
Right.
That's the site plan, and it shows the hatched out area in the middle, just east of the pool, between the two legs of the rear of the structure. That's the area that the balcony currently is, and it will be enclosed. Next page. You gotta zoom out on that. Was that too? Is there a zoom on it? Yeah. All right. And also what we're doing is on the front of the house, there's currently a door, set of French doors and a little pedestal with some steps which they want to remove, and replace it with a window to match the existing house. Just to the left, to the right side of the entry door, there's another window, so we would match that window in place of the double French doors. That's the only thing we're doing on the front of the house. And page three.
Yeah.
And this is the second floor showing the balcony at the upper right-hand corner of the existing. And that's gonna be a bedroom, converted into a bedroom. It says balcony, but it's gonna be a bedroom with access to the Jack and Jill bathroom.
So the existing is on the right side?
Yeah, no, the existing is left side, showing the balcony with the posts and the railing to be removed, all that railing
Okay.
and the pedestals will be removed. And then the right one is the proposed, which says existing. Second floor, that was a mistake. But that would be a bedroom, for one, I guess they have, AJ, how many kids do they have?
Three doors.
Yeah, 3 girls, so they wanna give them all separate bedrooms on the second floor. The next page is the front elevation and the roof plan. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you skip one? Yeah. Should be paid. Yeah, that's it. That's a proposed front elevation showing the window that replaced the door, which would match the window to the right side of the entry door. And the roof plan, what we're doing on the roof plan, we're at maximum 30 feet on the roof ridge. We've adjusted the pitch slightly to make sure that we don't exceed the height of the existing ridge. That's at 30 feet, so we want to maintain that maximum 30 feet. Then the next page. These are the existing elevations. shows the existing front, existing rear, and existing side elevation.
And just on the exterior finish, you've just put these, for want of a better word, dotted walls, just to show areas.
That are
There's
new.
there's no
Yeah,
change
no,
to.
it's to match existing, and it's
Okay.
just to identify the
Okay.
new area.
Thank you.
So, yeah, the next one would be the new rear elevation. Again, the ridge of the new roof doesn't exceed the height of the existing ridge behind it, which actually would be in front to the east side of it. And again, then there's the right side elevation, at the maximum 30-foot roof height. So you got the next one. Oh, that's the last one, okay, yeah. So that's pretty much the scope of the project.
Straightforward. And you're obviously, as per the documents we received, within the FAR.
Yeah, oh yeah. All those calculations are on the first page.
Yeah.
They have quite a bit allowable.
Yeah.
Over there.
Well, it's in it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
any questions from staff?
No, sir, we had to work with them a little on the roof, right, so that they would get the right heights and
Yes,
that.
I got the point several times that it was below the existing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, originally when they wanted to raise the roof higher a little bit, but couldn't do it.
Right, so you just said adjust pitch, right?
Well, once we elevated the tie beam height first, we raised the tie beam height. When we lowered it, the pitch was a few inches above the existing ridge. So we had to adjust the pitch a little bit just to make sure it didn't exceed the height of that ridge.
Okay.
But it's gonna be fairly close. I think the original pitch is 512 and we're like at 4 3/4, so
You won't even notice.
you won't notice it
Okay.
now.
Any questions from the board? In that case, could I invite another motion, please?
I'll
Motion.
make a motion to approve demolition permit to prepare the existing structure for an addition to the existing second floor.
Second?
Rita?
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield?
Yes.
Mr. Roche? Mrs. Jones? Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes.
Motion to approve a level 2 architectural site plan to approve the conversion of the second story balcony on the existing 2-story single-family Bermuda style dwelling to 430 square feet of enclosed living space.
Second?
Rita?
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Delafield?
Yes.
Mr. Roche?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you, and again, apologize for being
No,
late.
that's
I had more time.
No, absolutely no problems.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We now move on to the next part of our meeting. Any items about staff? It appears that one point to be discussed. Length of instruction periods.
Yes, the staff, as directed by the board, did bring this up again at the town commission meeting in earlier December. And so they did agree that we need to take a second look at this, and so they've instructed the town attorney to, he did make some comparisons to the town of Palm Beach code, and I believe they want you to,
Draft an ordinance
Yeah.
that does regulate construction.
yeah, so I guess we'll be bringing that back to the ARPB.
No, it'll go right before.
Okay, so it'll go straight to the commission. They did decide to take a second look at it, and he had already prepared some comparisons, like I say, to the Palm Beach code, and so they directed him to create an ordinance for the town of Gulfstream.
Thanks for following that through, because Curtis, that was your point at the last meeting in terms of
Yeah.
time, so thank
Can I ask another question? Even if it's not, construction per se, when there's these empty lots on Polo, there's one that's going to be, I mean, it really looks terrible. No, it's not on Polo, it's actually,
Gulfstream.
no,
Road.
Gulfstream.
Yeah, Gulfstream.
There is one on Gulfstream, but there's another one that I know is, not middle, what's south of middle?
It may be
Mom?
It
middle.
might be middle, it might be
It
middle
is-
on the
it
right
is
hand side, yeah,
middle.
it is middle, and, I mean, it's been sitting there for a year and a half, and it's just scrub. And I can imagine being the next door neighbors, and I don't even know if there's plans to build on it, but can there be something that requires them to have it grass, or something that makes it,
You mean the house was destroyed?
yeah, there's
So,
nothing on
right,
it.
they got,
They
they
got
got the
legal
demolition
steps.
permit and they performed the
Mhm.
demolition, but
But
they
it's been
haven't
a year and a
started
half.
construction, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
There,
And I
there,
mean-
to my understanding that there were some plans already approved, but they, it went over the year, deadline, and so, and then I'm not quite sure what happened to the lot after that. I think it was sold, correct?
Yes.
But I feel as if, I don't know, I mean, it really,
It's just been left.
it's just been left derelict, and it really, I can imagine, it's not doing much for,
Who are the title, do we know who the new title owners?
Oh, we do, they actually are friends with the neighbors due to the
Okay.
west. I mean, they're close friends, so.
But it's a good point.
It is.
And it's a very valid point, I think, because it could go for
years.
years.
Is it currently mowed?
They are
Is it
supposed,
mowed?
No,
No.
no grass,
No, it's
Dirt.
just rough.
It's
It's-
scrub, I mean, it really looks.
and weeds
scrub.
grow.
It
Yeah.
should be grassed in.
And gravelled in front.
I mean, I just, we make so much, try to make it so that the community looks so nice, and then if there's lots that are just left derelict, I think it,
A blot on the landscape.
well, the one on Gulfstream Road, I mean, they, you know, we got to the point where it was December 1st, and I think they were prepared to go ahead and do the construction, but they, you know, they were trying to not do that, the heavy, loud, noisy, dusty construction during
So they viewed it as a concession to the town. That's
I
interesting.
think for the most part.
They were
that's
putting
not
it-
the one, I was talking about the one on Middle.
Oh, okay.
That's one, that's
On
been
Middle,
years.
on
Different,
Middle,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, they are keeping it mowed, they got to the point where they weren't, but we had to get after them about that.
Oh, you
Oh, it's
mean
not.
middle road down by the water?
No, it's, if you, gosh, why am I,
It's
not Gulfview, what's
probably-
one north of Gulfview?
No, it is on.
Yeah, north of
It is on
Gulfview.
It is
Yeah,
on
I'm sorry,
Middle
I'm
Road.
getting,
But on the
I walked
corner
in
of
on-
Gulfstream Road and Middle
No,
Road.
no, that one, that's a different, that's the
That
one
was
that
the
we
cat
did.
lady's house.
That's the
Yeah,
cat
yeah.
lady's
Yeah,
house,
starting
yes.
from Polo,
It's next to Polo,
Polo
exactly.
and down Middle Road.
Yes, on the
Yeah.
right-hand side, on the north-hand,
Yeah.
north
But
side.
those plans, you probably remember approving those plans.
Yeah,
We do
approved
remember
those
that.
plans,
So-
and
They got it demolished, and then they ran into the,
And that property has been sold, you know, I know who bought it, and, but and they live over here in the condominium.
4001.
correct.
And I have no idea when they're planning on building that,
I mean,
but
it
there
just-
should be some.
Yeah, I'm using that as an example.
Yeah,
I
of
don't know
course,
who owns it,
he'll be
whatever.
grandfathered, but we could go forward with a,
Well, I kinda think you should say, you know, at a certain point, I mean, I know you can be grandfathered, but they can put grass down or
Yeah.
something, you know,
Yeah.
Or-
something.
Yeah, maybe the town should have
A
should
requirement
have
to do
a
that.
thing that you have to beautify any undeveloped.
Land, and there should
piece
be,
of
you know, a
property.
3-month something, I just feel like it's been going on for years, and I feel like that could be something that came up.
Do we have any measures at the moment that allow us for
I
enforcement?
think they're supposed to keep it watered, is my understanding.
well, we made the Clarks, who just did the Arthur family, we approved last month, we made them put down landscape, grass and irrigate it, as I recall.
Yeah.
That was part of the,
Right,
deal
But,
last
but
month.
but with that one, we knew they were not gonna put it.
They weren't gonna,
construction,
'cause-
So they needed to finish it
Right.
off.
Right, you're, right, but I think it's a
But
good point that we should put into future approvals,
Mhm.
that you have X number of months, or maybe a meet, because
After demolition,
Yeah,
after
because-
you've fulfilled the demolition permit,
A lot
there's
of
a set
times
period of
they
time.
like to demolish because it's an ugly old home or whatever, but then they're outbidding the contractors 2-3 bids, and it takes a few months sometimes, but this is an egregious example, and it's been 2 years, and that should be stopped, I agree with Carrie.
I don't know, I
So-
feel as if we created some sort of,
You have X months to start the construction,
And if
otherwise
we
then
don't-
you need to come in and put grass down and irrigate it, and that would actually accelerate some people's plans for them,
well,
but
I just feel as if that's,
Okay, well,
Do we want to make that a formal motion that we would like that?
we probably need to look
Or can we
into-
just say, just like we did
I
with...
think just give us direction.
Okay,
Do
could
that.
you please take that point up
Read it.
to...
This particular lot was really an exception to every other thing that's going on in the town, because what is the policy is that once the plan for the house is approved, they can't demolish anything until there is an approved plan. In other words, you can't, we did this one the other day, but, you know, they're landscaping, so that's all right. But this one you're talking about, they should have gone ahead and built it. But the builder that bought the lot and got the house approved, in the meantime, sold it and sold the plans with it to build it, with the understanding that he would be the contractor. And the people that bought it then decided not to do it, period. So,
Not to build the house?
yes. So, at least at that moment, decided not to build it. So now, that approval that you all gave them has expired. So before anything is done to it, they're gonna have to come back again with another set of plans.
New plans, and
Right.
potentially a
Board
new
is saying
contract.
that-
That's
in
the
the
first
meantime-
time it's ever happened.
Yeah, but what,
Really?
Well, it could happen again.
Yeah,
I feel.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
so you could have people just hanging on to lots
Lots.
as
Mhm.
investment
Yeah.
with no plans of doing
Right.
anything with it.
Right, I just feel as if this
just
is
leaving
a,
it fallow to, yeah.
and I mean, the ones on the ocean, because of whatever, the ones that are left open have grass and, you know, they've been maintaining them and they're fine. I just feel as if that's something that, obviously, it's the first time, but it's a small place and it could happen again. I just feel as if there's something that we should probably.
Yeah,
I think that's a
there
good
is.
point.
There is, and we'll again, we'll look into.
Oh my goodness, I actually added something.
Yeah.
As an alternate.
In that case, gentlemen,
Not an alternate
could you put your
today.
heads together, please? And
Oh, yes, well,
and see for the next meeting what
Sure.
we come back with. Sure. Okay, thank you.
And I'm sorry I'm by tennis attire, but I have a tennis
No problems, thanks, Gary.
situations. Figures everyone
Item
here.
by board members, we've had one.
What's that?
We've had the item by the board members. Are there any other board members' items? Rita, is there much coming through for the January meeting? I know I'm not here, so.
I'm trying to remember.
There may be one on some landscaping, but we may be able to handle that on a staff level, with a level one.
Okay.
But, I don't know of anything else,
Okay,
so there may not be a meeting,
And how long do our approvals last, refresh my memory?
1 year.
12 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we've got some approvals on the ocean that we made that are kicking through some months, but nothing's happened. Noticed, yeah. Okay, the developer deals, yeah.
So they may expire too.
Yeah, and they're both on the market, so,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And obviously the public have vacated, so unless there's any other business, thanks everyone. The meeting's closed.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.